right, let's see how this works out. Like I said, I'm using a new. Streaming. I'm using a new streaming. If you're with me, make a comment. I don't know if I can see comments. So, yeah, the interview last night was pretty tough. If it was Trump, they would have said he was unhinged. Right? He was unhinged. She was unhinged a couple times. They have her trying to defend. She doesn't want to throw Joe Biden under the bus. And she can't, right? She really can't.
Sorry, John.
You got it? All right. We're off.
And we're off to see the wizard.
Yeah. So yesterday was tough at work?
Yeah. Here, sir. I went to a swig of NyQuil.
I don't think tomorrow's going to be good. I don't know. I don't know. I have to look at my schedule.
Well, buddy.
I think my first visit.
I didn't want to bother you yesterday because I know that you're busy on Thursday, so it wasn't anything personal.
No. What happened was, I texted you. I didn't hear. I didn't hear. I hope everything is good with work.
It's been kind of rough. At least I got something the first day of the week. I'm not fucking, over.
Was that Monday?
Yeah.
And today's what, Thursday? Look, he's got his dog on his back.
Yeah.
He's a chiropractor.
Is he?
Yeah,
You know him?
He's in my neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
I see him a lot. My wife talked to him at one point. I think she told me that he said he was a chiropractor.
Nice guy?
I don't know. I've never talked to him. I always see him. He's always smiling and waving.
There you go. Nice enough.
That's a lot of things you do in the neighborhood. In the neighborhood, there's a lot of smiling, nodding, and waving.
Yeah.
Or there's no smiling, or it's like one or the other.
Right.
The days of like actually standing on the sidewalk and talking to your neighbors kind of like long gone.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't do that.
Yeah. Maybe,
And then when
they got their earphones in.
And then when crap hits the fan.
Yeah.
And they interview you and they go, man, he seemed like a nice guy.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was like that.
Yeah.
Because we don't really.
We don't socialize. Yeah.
There was a time I remember my grandmother used to sit out on her porch, rocking in her chair. And the neighbor would walk over and sit down next to her, or she would talk to them as they were on the sidewalk or something. And you don't see that.
Yeah.
You don't see that anymore.
Yeah.
It's like people live in fear. Like,
Well, people kind of just keep to themselves,
I remember when my grandmother lived in Miami. She lived in Miami, right? They had a door with
Grandma John. Adventures of Grandma John and Jimmy Cartoon.
They used to have two doors. They had like the door that you shut, and then they had like a screen door. And there was and during the day and even at night until you went to bed, you left the door open and you had the screen door. People could walk up to you. I mean, if people walked up to your door, they would be at the screen door and they could talk to you through the screen door.
Yeah.
You don't see that anymore.
Yeah.
You don't see screen doors on people's
Gorgeous.
unless you're up. You see someone living in North Carolina somewhere in the mountains or something.
Georgia. Yeah.
Somewhere up there.
Yeah. Different time. Bruins won last night. They were on late last night, but they were on national TV and they won, so that was fun.
Who did they
but
play?
I only got like 5 hours of sleep. Avalanche. They beat the Avalanche 5-3.
You're a better better man than me.
Yeah.
I would never stay up that late.
Yeah. I was thinking about going to bed, but they made it close, so I'm like, oh, what if I fall asleep and they lose?
In today's day and age, you could go on the next day and look at the highlights.
Yeah, I know.
It's not like years ago that if you didn't see it, you didn't see it.
Right, I know.
You know.
I know. But they're only on TV so often, you know.
Well, you're a sports fanatic.
I know, but it's not like the Bruins are on like as much as the Panthers. They're Boston. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not going to see them unless they're on national TV,
Right.
or they're playing the Panthers,
Right.
or you pay for the NHL, whatever the hell it is.
Package. Yeah. No,
I'm surprised you don't do that.
I should, but I listen to them on the radio. No, I have this app on my phone. It's called TuneIn. You can listen to stations all across the country. And sometimes when I'm coming home from work and it's like it starts to be 7 o'clock, I'll put the Bruins on while I'm walking home or whatever. Listen to the radio broadcast.
It's a nice day out, man.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be a photo finish. I think the Bruins and the Panthers got the same record. It's gonna be a collision course. It's gonna come between those two teams, and you know the Panthers got our number, so it's gonna be the Panthers. But you know the East is gonna run through. It always runs through like 3 or 4 teams.
You know what?
You know what I mean? It's always like Boston. It's always the Panthers, Toronto, and
To me,
like New York.
To me, I think they've screwed the whole thing up. This is just my opinion.
All right.
Because they've taken, there's no emphasis on the regular season.
Right.
There really isn't.
But that's like in every sport, though.
Because they take in 8 teams to the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
All you got to do is come in the top 8.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, you really got to be bad.
Yeah.
Like, you really got to be freaking bad
Yeah.
not to come in the top 8, right?
Right.
And they did that with football. They did that with all these places.
Right.
It used to be, you know how it is, the regular season meant something.
Right.
You had to finish. I don't know if I have any napkins. Or
Sorry,
I
John.
don't think I have any napkins. But there used to be an emphasis that you had to do well.
Football has a little parity, but since it's the playoffs, you can move forward a loss or 2. But it used to mean something.
I mean,
it used to be 10 years back. Oh my God, you can't lose a game. Okay, you can only lose 1 game.
Right, college, you couldn't do it. Couldn't lose.
Right.
If you weren't going to make it to the national title game.
Right.
And there was times that one never played 2.
Yeah.
You'd have the first rank. It came down to the Orange Bowl, right? The Orange Bowl, because you always had, who'd they take? It was either Miami, Oklahoma, someone, Nebraska, because they had the Big Eight or something at the time. Yeah. And then you'd have the second place team playing in some other bowl.
Right, like the Orange Bowl. Not the Orange Bowl, like the Rose Bowl or the Fiesta.
Right. And it came down to the coaches and the writers voting at the end if both teams won.
Thank God we fixed that. That was a weird scenario, you know?
I didn't think it was weird.
I guess.
But I don't like...
I like the fact that one can play it too, you know?
You know what? I liked it when it was amateur sports.
Yeah.
And they were playing just to play.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
That was my whole thing. I always liked watching players play because for the love of it.
Yeah.
Now they play.
No love of it. They play for the money.
They play for the money, and I think that for me, someone
takes away from it a little bit, but
for me, someone who watched, a
purist.
Listen, I watched football at a time that you weren't even alive yet.
Probably.
And I saw it in a different lens.
Yeah.
And it was a lot.
Now they're paying high school kids the NIL while they're still in high school in some states. It's not even pure there.
You know, it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like,
yeah.
I think that kid at UNLV.
Yeah.
But you can see how resistant. I think the NCAA knows they have
but the backup ended up being better than his ass. That's gonna backfire on him a little.
Sure. I think the NCAA is reluctant to do anything because they can't do anything.
Right. They can't regulate shit.
Even if they try to regulate it, they're going to get sued.
Right.
If they try to limit how much someone can get paid through the NIL, they're going to get sued saying, hey.
They're getting sued anyway. They got like people like Reggie Bush and all these other people that got in trouble for getting paid. Now they want to get paid because they didn't get paid enough because these kids are getting NIL. Like, Reggie had a $250,000 apartment, and you know your family was put up, and you got a car. But now that's not enough money. You just got to get the NIL money that the kids are making.
And here's the situation: that it was that people wanted the kids to get paid,
right?
And then when they paid, then they bitched that the Supreme Court allowed them to get paid,
right?
And that's because
they're never happy.
No, that's because they weren't prepared to regulate it,
right?
And now this is the situation, right? You start down a certain path, and then you try to regulate it and stop it, and you can't, because they're going to try, and then you're going to see the greed come out, because they're going to try to say, hey,
the grades are already started to
pay everyone a certain amount.
Right.
Pay everyone a certain amount.
And then people were like, hell no.
No, because I'm better than him and her, and I can make a lot more money doing my own thing.
Right.
I think what they should do is say, hey, everyone, but see, there's always, for every action, there's a reaction, right?
Yeah.
And so what's going to happen is if they start paying, if they open up the door and say, hey, you can start paying, give everyone a certain amount of money, right? Then you're going to see the lesser teams, like Jackson State, Grambling.
Yeah.
How are they going to pay?
Right.
They don't have any money as it is.
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
Well,
I don't want to sound racist.
They got these teams that are fundraising. They're asking ticket holders, "Hey, donate $100 each so we can donate to our team's NIL fund." You want to win, right? They send out these letters and shit. And it's like the little name schools.
You see how? But
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. But you see the disparity now, right?
Yeah.
You see how much. You see the disparity, like how much money Texas has, how much money
Ohio State.
Texas A&M has.
Right. Look at Ohio State. They got 22 guys that are making over $1 million.
Like I think they said
Yeah.
University of Miami has only, 16. No, but Miami is just that they have a lot. Miami is just that they have a lot of alum that are big money people.
Right.
That can make a freaking difference.
Right. And they always find the alums that get in trouble. Like it's always the guys that fund Miami that get in trouble. It was Luther Campbell, Devin Shapiro. Now this guy's gotten a little trouble with the money. He's got like a little financial issue.
Well, that was because it was.
But they have a track record of that.
Right. But that's because it wasn't legal back then.
Yeah.
Now it's legal.
Right.
So it don't matter.
Right, but like Nevin Shapiro had like a Ponzi scheme before he was paying the players. He was in trouble.
Listen, when you got someone who's doing that, was flaunting that type of money, you got to wonder where it's coming from anyway.
Right.
But no one cares at the time.
Right, because the checks are flowing.
No one cares.
Right. Money's flowing, they don't care.
Money's flowing, they don't give a shit what you do. But then when it comes out,
it's like, I'm not associated with him.
Right.
I know, it's so fucked up, isn't it?
Right, I'm not associated.
They had like
with
Donna Shalala. She's holding up the big check at the bowling alley, but then they says, I didn't know he was a crook. I'm not associating with him. And she's smirking while she's getting like the big ass check.
Listen, she, in my opinion,
and she was a Democrat, wasn't she?
She worked for the
DNC. Yeah.
No, she was a cabinet member of. Was she cabinet member?
Was she?
For Bill Clinton. She was the education secretary.
Or was it
No, she was
Hillary, right?
No, she worked for Bill Clinton.
For somebody.
She worked for Bill Clinton.
I thought she worked for like somebody recent. Did she work for like Obama or something?
Oh no! When she left Miami, Hillary Clinton Foundation.
Yeah.
But she's been a. But she ruined Miami football.
Yeah,
because what happened was they stopped putting the money into the program.
Right.
And then she changed, and I was being recruited to college. They used to send me information.
Yeah.
The application, everything was stamped athlete golf, because most universities would give a break to the requirements to get into a college,
right? Because
of you're an athlete,
right? Scholarship.
Correct. I didn't have to qualify academically like other students.
You had to qualify at a certain GPA, but it wasn't like the minimum for like a civilian. Like I think like Georgia is like a 3.7 to get in as a student, but like it's like a 2.0 for. They were more interested. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they didn't want you to totally fail and bomb.
Right.
They just wanted to make sure that you were going to be able to get through the school.
Right.
So anyway, you had to fill this packet out.
And even if you did, some of these schools like Ohio State and Oklahoma State, they had these kids taking community college courses online so they could play football and stuff.
The athletes had to meet. And everyone knew.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
Right.
And let me tell you, if it was today, in today's world, it would never fly.
No.
Because they would say,
nobody would get in. They couldn't
you
field
are
the team.
The inner city kids,
right,
that are good at football.
Right.
You're being too harsh on them.
Right.
Or you're being, since you changed the policy, there's more white kids getting in now than black kids. You know what I'm saying? There would be something. Somebody would write an article.
Yeah.
And she had something in mind, right?
Yeah.
But because the school was doing well,
Notre Dame did that for years.
Because I remember, yeah. You know, and I think
loosened it a little bit, but you can't be a dummy to get into Notre Dame.
No, because at the time, I don't know. There's more to it, right? There's more to it. I don't know all the intricacies, but the NCAA had some requirements,
right?
That a certain amount of you had your graduation.
You had to make like a 2.0 or a 2.5 or something.
The school's graduation rate.
Yeah.
For like athletes, you had to be like at 80%. Like,
okay.
I don't know what would happen if you didn't.
Yeah.
But they had these requirements that you had to have a certain. Like, this truck goes out and blocks the intersection. Like,
but I don't think they do that anymore because Georgia has like the lowest graduation rate, and they're just a machine. You know.
Well, they had changed. I think they changed it because when it came to the athletes, they were leaving school early.
Right.
And you had against your graduation rate.
Right. But now you got a lot of bright kids that finish in 2 and 3 years, and then they go to like other schools, or they go pro, and they already have a degree.
You know what? They've changed that too over the years. Because when I was a kid, dude, when I was in school, nobody graduated early. There was no such thing.
Yeah.
Maybe junior.
Yeah.
Nobody. I never heard of such a thing.
Yeah.
Now kids are.
It's common in college. They'll have like people finish in 2 and 3 years.
Yeah, because it depends when you start.
Right.
And no, I graduated in most people graduate in June, let's say, right? We're so used to the last day of school was June.
Right.
I graduated in December.
Did you? You graduated early?
Yeah, because I went to school. I went to school nonstop.
Yeah.
I had no break for a year and a half. I was in a 2-year program, right?
Yeah.
I went to school nonstop for a year and a half. Where some people would take a break for the summer or this.
Right.
I didn't do that. And kids can graduate early if you want to. If you go to college, right?
Right.
And you go nonstop. If you go during
December and then.
Well, if you graduate high school in January, let's say a kid graduate just like they do. They graduate in December.
Yeah.
They early enroll,
right.
like they do now.
Right.
And then you keep going, like you don't.
And then you take
enroll
like
in summer.
In course load 2
years early, year and a half early.
Right.
You know, it's
kids enter the transfer portal for Notre Dame, and then as long as he got his degree or.
I don't understand any of that. I guess they have more eligibility. And
he's eligible for an 8th year. Cam Rising quarterback.
Yeah, but there's a kid.
Jesus Christ.
There's a kid in Miami. There's a kid
he's got
now.
like 9 years. Yeah.
He's 26.
Yeah, I know. It's fucking nuts.
Is he? I don't even know who he is. Is it the tight end or something?
Yeah, he's like a receiver.
He was like hurt like 3 years in a row, and then
they had like a kicker like a couple of years ago or punter for the Hurricanes that was like 31, and he had like all these tattoos, and he was like from Australia, and he's like 30 or 31 years old. I'm like, he's damn near my age.
But if you really think about it, is there an age limit? Because if you think about it, right? Let's say you live in something like you said, you live in some foreign country, you're 30 years old.
Right.
And you come over to America, you enroll in college.
Right.
Can you play college football? Or college baseball? I mean,
I guess.
I don't know of a rule that says you can't.
Right.
You know, there's no age, like high school, there's an age limit. You know, high school, there's an age limit, right?
Yeah.
You can't. I've seen listen, I was in the middle.
They stop enrolling you. You're 20 years old, you're a junior, you're fucked. You got to figure it out.
When
they kick you out of school.
When you're 19, you can't play.
Right. If you're over 20, they kick you out of school. They're like, or no, I think it's like 22. I think it's 22. They say, hey, you're too old.
That guy, the car is returning, and he just went right in front of him.
Good thing I didn't make it till I was 22. I graduated at 19, but I'm saying, what if you had issues? They said, hey, not my problem. We're 22. You know what I mean?
I was refereeing a football game.
Yeah.
And they told it was like the 3rd game of the season. It was like I forget what it was. And the
kid was 20
the administration came to us and said, hey, we may run a little long on the halftime.
Yeah.
Because we're honoring some kid that this is his last game.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be 19.
Or 20,
and you can't play when you're over 19.
Yeah. I think Amari Cooper couldn't play his senior year because he was 20 years old or something. Worked out for the best for him, right? Didn't matter. He's in the pros now.
So it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
That kids, for him, he was able to mature a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? All of a sudden, you're 20 and you're like a man amongst boys on the football field.
Oh, yeah.
There's a big difference. 20 and someone who's 18. 20 and someone who's 18.
Right. There's a big difference between somebody that's 20 and 14. What about the underclassmen on the field?
But see, everything's whacked because you can be doing.
They got kids that are 13 in middle school. Some of them are.
Look at this guy.
Have like
what the hell is that?
Play like a year early on the varsity team because they're so good, you know.
So private school is totally different.
Yeah.
You can be a middle schooler in a private school.
Yeah.
And you can play in varsity.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You ever heard of a running back named Suni Michel.
Sony Michel, of course.
Played for Georgia, right?
Yeah.
He wanted to go to Miami.
Yeah.
And Miami wouldn't take him.
No.
Because he couldn't qualify.
Yeah.
I know his whole story because my sister worked at the high school.
Heritage.
And they have, you have kids. So in high school, algebra, or world history, whatever it is, advanced.
Right.
And they have kids who struggle academically, and they take different courses.
Right.
And American Heritage had that. They had different. American Heritage had different. I think about what program they called it. Anyway, he was a member of that, and he couldn't get into Miami. He couldn't get in.
But he's very good in college and high school.
Well, the reason why I brought him up was he played it when he was in middle school. Because American Heritage on the same campus.
Right.
When he was in middle school, he was playing varsity football.
There's a kid on Alabama that's 17. That's
a great wide receiver, right?
Yeah, a great wide receiver.
He's like 17. He's the next coming or whatever.
Yeah, Julio Jones. He's probably gonna leave after 3 years. He's gonna be 19 years old as a pro. Can you imagine that? That's like somebody's first year in college. He's probably gonna leave after 3 years. He's gonna be 19 years old as a pro. Can you imagine that? That's like college.
So I was saying this.
Insane.
Yeah. I watched.
They're not gonna know what to do with themselves. There are gonna be a lot of bad decisions. Doesn't matter if you're from decisions. Doesn't matter if you're from the hood or wherever.
Unless the parents
you can't give a young kid that kind of money and not think that he's not going to blow it.
But unless the parents step in.
Well, the parents are no.
But
they're looking out for number one nowadays. You know what I mean?
What they should do.
I know.
Is not give the kids the money.
Yeah.
Say, hey, we have a fund.
If when you graduate, you can get it.
Well, not even that. Well, you can't. They would never go for that.
Yeah.
But say, hey, we have a thing where we put it into a trust or something, and then and then after 4 years you get the money.
Yeah.
My uncle did that.
But they'll never do that because the eligibility is.
They want the money now.
Well, true, but now they got eligibility for kids that to go pro after their junior year.
Well,
if they can't get the money,
is it a junior year? They have to be a junior. I was wondering that because I was thinking to myself,
because they have underclassmen all the time, but they got to be out of college 3 years.
So I was thinking about the Kings, the greatest in the world. Not like the offense. The offense is like the number one offense in the country.
Right.
That's because of Cam Ward.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if they went,
but all the elite teams have close calls, you know what I mean? You see Ohio State,
I've said
Oregon win like nail biters.
I've said there used to be. So here's what I was saying. There was a time you needed to win every game,
right,
to have a chance at a national title,
right.
So every game meant something.
Right.
Now you don't have that. Now you just have to come in the top 12, right?
Right.
But what I was thinking the other day was how many Miami guys, because this is the only team I really pay attention to that I know play. How many Miami guys they're not going to play the bowl.
Right.
They're not going to play.
Right.
Because Cam Ward, be honest with you, why would he play? If he's going to be a top 5 pick, why would he chance it? Different. It's a different position, right?
Right.
There's a good chance he could, throw the ball away and not get hit and stuff like that, right? But
there's a couple guys on Notre Dame that played in the bowl game and they tore their ACL or whatever. There was a great linebacker that was going to be a first round pick, Jalen Smith. He played like the Fiesta Bowl. There was a dirty hit on him by an offensive lineman, and he tore his ACL.
Hello, do you know who started the whole thing? You know what started this whole thing?
What's that?
The Miami Hurricanes.
Yeah.
You had when they had their great team.
Yeah.
The 83, not 83, but what are they? Whatever.
2001.
Whatever. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
And Clinton Portis.
Yeah. Hurt his knee. Yeah.
He got hit.
Yeah.
In the Fiesta Bowl, was it?
Yeah.
One of them. Yeah, he tore his knee.
It was either Portis or McGahee. I remember that shit.
Yeah. One of them.
Yeah.
And that started the whole thing.
Yeah.
That started the whole thing about players. No. I pass.
Right.
Oh wait. No.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not gonna. Look at this.
That's Nosh.
Walks just right out in traffic. Sees a car coming. Don't even stop. Just assumes I'm gonna stop. What is she?
Haitian.
No, I mean, what does she do for work?
She works with me.
Oh, she's one of the callers too?
Yeah. All right, buddy. I love you.
All right,
Be
man.
safe.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
All right, brother.
I'll text you later.
Talk to you later.
Stay out of trouble, John.
Thank you. Okay. I have been broadcasting. I don't see any chat. Have I been getting any chat? I don't know. If anybody's watching, could you chat? Could you send a message or something so I could see what is happening? Is anybody watching? I just don't understand. I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm getting buddy mode, streaming settings, audio settings, video settings, platform settings, advanced, draw on top. So that was my buddy. I was dropping him off, and now I gotta go. I'm gonna go back east, west. Yeah, I have to go back west. If anybody's watching my stream, please make a comment. Because I don't know if I can see comments. That's the only thing that's driving me crazy with this app. Let's see. Good morning. How are you? I'm just hitting random buttons because I'm trying to figure out what I'm looking around. So we'll see. I had the chat on, so I don't know. I don't know if I'm receiving any chat. That's the only thing I don't like. How do you connect? So if you're multi-streaming, if you have 3 or 4 platforms going at one time, and you had the chat set up to on, how do you know? I don't know. Anyway, let's see what's going on. Get back to news. I'm listening to the local politics station. See what they're talking about. So, in Florida, especially Broward County, Miami-Dade, Broward County, we have a large Jewish population. And they're talking about there's such a disconnect. Not a disconnect, it's a difference of opinion from the people who are what we call Israeli Jews, right? They've come from Israel and now they live here, versus, they've immigrated here from Israel, okay? Versus people that are born and raised here. And their politics are so different, right? They're more... they're very conservative. The Israelis are very conservative, very, they're not too happy with the Democrat Party. I'm not going to say anti. They're just not too happy. They're not happy with them. Versus the Jewish community has been born and raised here, went through the schooling system, and they have a Jewish last name, and their politics are very different. They're more liberal, right? And I find that amazing. But it all goes back to my theory, is that how your life and what happens in your life impacts how you feel about things, and people who are raised, I know people who have been raised liberal, very liberal, right? And then something happens. Their car gets broken into, they get robbed, they get beat up, something happens. And it changes their entire, how one event can change, some people change their entire thinking. And then there's some people who experience something traumatic and it has no impact on how they think. And a lot of people, they don't understand that, But if you're from Israel and you've lived in, I don't know what the living conditions are, but they got the Iron Dome, you're under the threat of some type of terrorist attack. I've seen videos, and now, and how these events that transpire, how it changes your whole way of thinking, But now you see in the United States, right? There's a large Muslim population in Michigan. There's, I mean, they keep talking about Michigan. I'm sure there's different areas. And then you see it in Miami, right? You have a large Cuban population. And when stuff happens in Cuba, they're protesting in Miami, right? And don't get me started on that. I'm like, you know, when you have things that happen in Venezuela, and you have things that happen in Haiti, and things that happen in Cuba, and there's, right, you have your activists, you have people that have I escaped Venezuela and the Maduro rule, and they protest in Miami. 20,000 Venezuelans take to the streets. Well, what does that do? It does nothing. It does nothing. It does nothing. You got to be in the country. You got to be in Venezuela. Those 20,000 people got to be there, and you gotta be protesting there. That's how you have an effect. Not living here a cushy existence or a cushy life compared to what they're living over there in, you know, 1,000% inflation or whatever it is. I don't even know if I'm on. We'll see. It says I'm on, but it doesn't show that I'm connected.